Well, hello and welcome to the most innovative metaphysical reading on the internet focused on tarot, the Tao Manifesting Tarot podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I realize that in life, there is one thing that you cannot buy, and that is more time. I don't care how rich you are, poor you are, you have whatever time you have, that's it. So for you to come here is an investment. And I do my best to make sure that it is nothing but an excellent experience for you because it gives you the big picture. That's really what the deal is. It gives you the big picture. The message for today is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But there's a lot behind those words, and that's what we're going to take a look at this tarot reading today. So again, I aim to give you the big picture, connect the 3D to the 5D, no fantasy, no unicorns, no rainbows, no woo-woo. It's the matrix revealed and a whole lot more because tarot is manifesting. I've done tarot for over 20 years, and in that time I found it, from my point of view anyway, predicted nothing. Virtually nothing. Once in a while you get a little nibble, but over 20 plus years, nothing for me. However, I looked at it from a different angle and I went, ooh, tarot is the science of potential. We're talking energy, we're talking frequency. That's what the cards represent. Okay, now let's look at it from that point of view. And all of a sudden, so tarot is the destination. Think of it, you're taking a trip, you're going somewhere. That somewhere is the tarot energy. As you are here going through the reading, this energy, this space and time is open to you. You make a choice. Yes, no. That's why tarot is the science of potential. You're going to get a message. I make that a point. I make that very clear. You don't have to guess what the energy is. And then you decide, yes, I can apply it, or not interested. That's okay. There'll be another tarot reading, another frequency tomorrow. You will have another chance. That's what life is all about. Every day it's a little different, different opportunities. So, tarot is the science of potential, literally the ultimate destination in this reading. Okay? But as I said, you need a map to get there, and that's where I lean on numerology and astrology. Remember, I said in the beginning this was a metaphysical reading, focused on tarot, but metaphysical, because I have to add in the information I could get from numerology or astrology. Because what that does is round out the picture. It gives you some meaning. It gives you a little chance to kind of get the edge, to really see what you have to go through to get to your destination. All righty? Remember, you need a map to get there. That's what the science of cycles, that's astrology, numerology, is all about, to guide you to your spiritual potential. Okay, so numerology and astrology is kind of, it's the map. We hear that history repeats. That's something I suspect most everybody, the expression they've heard, history repeats itself. And the reason it does is because of the energies of numerology, astrology. Things keep repeating differently. It's not exactly the same, but it is recognizable. For example, and I'm going to do this as quick as I can because I do it every day, but I do it to help you understand where we're going. You could go back to 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. You're familiar with that. Anyway, 1492, Spain, with the help of European bankers, paid Columbus to come to the New World. They knew there were riches there, or potentially there were riches there. That changed literally the frequency of an entire planet. It's Europe crossing big water to come to the quote unquote New World, North and South America. 1492. Just so happens that Pluto and Neptune meet every 500 years. Takes that long, they move that slowly, that over 500 years, they'll get back to the same spot they were 500 years before. So 1492, we have Pluto and Neptune together. You go 500 years, 1492 to 1992. Oh, George H.W. Bush was talking about the New World Order. 1492, New World. 1992, New World Order. And in fact, let's play a little extra. You go 1492 minus 500 years, that puts you at 992. That's when the world, at least in the Middle Ages, changed drastically. You had the Byzantine Empire joining the Christians. There was another group joining in, a major group, the Mongols, I believe. Anyway, it was a major consolidation, or at least agreement, to work together to form this union. So that was even an earlier New World Order. So 992, 1492, 1992. You see the connection? Our American Revolution. We're coming up next year, 250 years. Guess what? Pluto Uranus. Finally coming back to the same spot. Took 250 years, but they got here. We're talking about a revolution. We're talking about revolting. And to add to that, Neptune was in a position just before we got into the Civil War. It's back in that same position now. Civil War, revolution, New World Order. All righty. So that's why the astrology is so important in terms of you understanding and then taking that tarot energy and moving forward. So you're going to know your potential destination. You're going to know what it feels like, what it tastes like, what it looks like. That's the experience I'm trying to bring to you. It's not just a question of running words all together and saying, hey, this is what it is. Here's the deal. This is what's happened in the past. Now apply it in whatever way that works for you, your kryptonite. Going to begin the evolutionary journey in a moment. We're going to do the astrology stuff first, but I want to remind you I do have an email, one singular email. Made the change about a month ago, tau-tarot@proton.me, tau-tarot@proton.me. You can be happy, sad, angry, whatever you want to be. You want to tell me yes, no, whatever, or anything else. It's fine. It's just a connection. It's a communication, and I'm pretty good at watching over it. Wasn't so good before I got just the one singular email, but I got it now. So you're more than welcome. Open invitation to comment any way you want to. tau-tarot@proton.me. And I thank you in advance for signing on. All right, so let's get to it, huh? Astrologic, that's what we're talking about. And over the past couple of months, I've been focusing, using astrology, numerology, focusing on American history. I figured, well, I know in school, because John D. Rockefeller shaped our school system, that they're lying to me. They're hiding things. They're obfuscating. So I figured, okay, let's do a little astrology. Let's see what we can see. Take a peek behind the curtain, and proved to be very enlightening. I mean, life-changing enlightening. Talked about 1492 just a little while ago, financed by the European Jew bankers. And guess what? That's when they got their claws initially into the New World. How did they do that? Well, via England. Because 100, 150 years after 1492, King of England said, I got to go to war, but I got no money. So he put out the word. The money changers, the bankers in Europe said, hey, yeah, we'll step up, but you got to do us a favor. He said, sure, what? He said, we want to start something called the Bank of England. You won't have any part of it. Or you can own shares or stock, certainly, but it will be our bank, be our private bank, although we call it the Bank of England. King, being brain dead, said, sure, go on. Just give me my money so I can fight my war. At that point, it began to take hold in the colonies, North America. And in part, their pressure on the colonists economically created the Revolutionary War. And it has been a battle versus the European Jew bankers and people like them since the beginning. Every war we've been in has been sponsored in part by the bankers. They wanted to have control. They have been trying consistently to have a private bank like they did in England, the Bank of England. They finally got it done in 1913, but they had to sink the Titanic to get it. There were very, very, very wealthy people on board who objected to a private bank, and they had to get rid of them. So they did. They sunk the Titanic. The other people who died, well, that's collateral damage. It doesn't make any difference. They wanted what they wanted, and they got it. 1913, America was bought and sold. It was done. We didn't see it, but it was done. And oh, by the way, when they got the Federal Reserve set up, they set up immediately the income tax because you had to put money into the Fed, and they got women working, so they got even more money because women would pay taxes, and so you'd have men and women both paying taxes to the Fed. Oh, it was great. And to make it a little bit better for them, they had a World War I, which I don't think turned out the way they planned, so they had to do a World War II. But after World War II, the darkness came out. We didn't see it, but the darkness came out. And that's what this reading is all about. Transparency, eyes wide shut. You've heard the expression, there's nothing more cleansing than sunlight. Meaning, the better you get to see something, the better the outcome. But that's not the way human beings deal with one another. Obviously, we cheat and steal and do secret stuff all the time. Secrets everywhere. But that mentality is a government tool that destroys freedom and trust, and it kills everything in its path. Example, 1952, after World War II, and a huge change politically and economically in Washington that we did not see because we were too happy to get out of the Depression, too happy to end the war. We just didn't give a damn. But 1952 stands out as kind of an interesting year. They came up with the Invention Secrecy Act. Any invention that they concluded could be used against the United States of America, meaning the businesses of America, the banks of America, anything that would hurt the business and banks, they could make secret. You wouldn't even know about it. And of course, there's Project Blue Book. Again, secrets, secrets, secrets all over the place. And so I did a quick review of the astrology for 1952, and it really comes out as no surprise. We have Jupiter and Uranus in a very favorable combination, good for change, certainly. And it would be constructive change. However, Jupiter squares Pluto, Uranus squares Neptune, which is virtually on top of Saturn. So what that all gobbledygook boils down to is acquisitions that are hidden from us. They're getting information, they're getting things, they're getting patents, they're getting secrets, and they're hiding them away. To protect us, of course. Oh, yeah, to protect us. That's what the government's for, right? Not so much. We're finding out today that those kinds of things have literally killed America. And it started in 1913 with the Fed. We gave the super rich complete control of our financial system with no observation, no checks, no transparency, eyes wide shut. And anybody who got in the way, you were killed. Didn't make a difference if you were a president, a pauper. Didn't make any difference. Get the hell out of our way. So in 1952, we have two examples, many, many more. I'm not going to run a list, but many, many more of a lack of transparency in the U.S. government. We see now the end result. It's undeniable. Maybe too late. Let's go to the memes of the day. I got 4 of them here. I'm only going to read one. The other 2 are pretty interesting. State of Florida, and of course the cabinet backlash in Britain. These are the results of things like what happened in 1952. But the one up in the top left, if the government is involved, avoid it. If the government supports it, reject it. If the government says it's safe, it's not. If the government says it's true, it's false. If the government wants to help, it won't. If the government says you need it, you don't. Words to live by. Now let's see if we can't apply them to our own government. That's going to be a hell of a job. Trying to put transparency in a vile, corrupt government? Why? We go to the missing link. The little meme on the bottom, Dr. Asim Vatora, he issues a very stark warning. He says that this is a killer. The COVID mRNA jab can cause cancer, hearts. He says this is just the beginning of a epidemic of deaths, dying. And the top article is sudden and unexpected. You get that all the time. I've seen that just today alone in the news. Two people, one was in his late 40s, one was in his mid 30s, died suddenly. No explanation as to why these two people died, but I'll tell you, they got vexed. And underline that idea, there is a nurse who has gone public, Michelle Spencer from California. She says there are increasing numbers of fetal deaths among co-vaxxed women. So they may not die yet, but it certainly doesn't help the fetus. And nobody said a word except this nurse from California. God bless her. So let's get to the tarot now, huh? We got three cards, the World card, the Moon card, and the Page card. The World card is interesting because it means opportunity. It means things are changing, whether you like it or not, by the way. But that's how it works. Completion, integration. But there's a wholeness to it that really, really makes it kind of a beautiful situation, although somewhat painful. The next card that we're looking at is the Moon card. With a full moon, no matter how bright. Now, in fact, I think right now we're having a full moon eclipse, I think. Today, tomorrow. Anyway. A full moon, no matter how bright it is still an illusion. You don't see everything. Lack of transparency. Aha. Get it? So it's also an opportunity for other people to hide things from you. Ooh, transparency. 1952. Get it? So with a full moon, you have to use your intuition. You have to be kind of a conspiracy theorist. Well, I see a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. I'll put them together. What do I got? Ooh, conspiracy theory. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but you don't see it clearly, so you got to put in the extra effort. That's your subconscious. And the final card we have here is the Page of Wands. Wands are always positivity, enthusiasm, joy, lots of energy in wands, lots of energy. And pages always change the script. So the Page of Wands talks about opportunity, talks about creativity, talks about being connected to a life that's yours, something that means something to you. We're living an artificial life. We're getting up doing jobs that we mostly don't like. We're spending a lot of time in traffic. We're spending a lot of time working. We have very little time for us, our families, or any connections. And we do that for 40, 50 years. And then we retire. After that, don't live long. That is, of course, if you can assume or avoid all of these interferences, in our lives. They're poisoning our food, poisoning our water, dropping crap from the skies. You go to a grocery store, average grocery store, there's nothing to eat, nothing that is truly healthy. So you have to kind of skate around it. Then, of course, they're pushing one disaster after another. It's the living, breathing psyops. That's life. Maybe it's time to rethink that whole thing, huh? So with the World card coming up, they're looking at wholeness, integration, having a life that you're connected to. With the Moon, you're putting away fear. You're going to the Page of Wands and saying, please, let me see some opportunity. Let me see some light. It'll make all the difference in the world. And indeed it will. Hey, we're out of time. Thank you so much. I realize, as I said in the beginning, the one thing that money doesn't buy is time. And I realize that when you come here every day, it's an investment. So I work real hard to give you good value. So that's it. Like and subscribe. That's extremely important. There is a battle, going on these days for your personal privacy, for your right to know, your right to think, your right to believe on your own. Help us. Like and subscribe. So that's it. Between now and the next time you and I do Manifesting Tarot together, peace and blessings.